So this is a lesson for 4.1. Make sure to put your name on there. And we talked about this. I'm talking about it again. So a sequence which terminates, that means it ends. It doesn't keep on going on forever, is called what? It's called a finite because it ends. So this is called a finite sequence. Okay, and then what is just one part of it? An individual number or figure or letter, or in the case that we talked about with the activity thing. So this is the term, and I abbreviate it term of, and then I'm going to do SEQ for sequence. And I just realized I forgot to do this. I thought anyway. Okay. A blank is a pattern involving an ordered arrangement of numbers, geometric figures, letters, or other objects. And so this is a sequence. And then a sequence which continues on forever is called what? An infinite sequence. Okay, there are a whopping 16 problems on this homework, which you have to do all of them. Gasp. Which is not too bad at all. The first part, 1 through 6, there are 2 things that you're going to have to do. So thing number 1, there are 2 things. So thing number 1 is you're going to have to write these things in words. What? So you're going to have to describe the pattern in words, your own words. This is what they have, which does that mean that that's the only way to describe it is how they described it? No, there's lots of different ways. And then the second thing you're going to have to do is to draw the next 2 figures. So first thing is words, next thing is next 2 figures. So there's 2 parts on 1 through 6. They've already done this one. Let's go to number 2. Sometimes when you're doing these things to describe the words, it helps to actually put numbers with it. If this is the first term, how many dashes are in this first term? 3. This one, 6. The third one has 9. So then let's describe it in words. So you can do it either by the next term. The next term has how many more dashes than the previous one? Has 3 more dashes. And I'll put in parentheses each added to the end of the, I don't know what else to call it, but branch. So I'll put it in parentheses because I don't know what else to call it. Or you can say multiply the term. Okay, and it has 3 dashes each added to the end of a branch. What do I need to say?
You need to put another parenthesis to end the other parenthesis.
Oh, bravo. Technically, a parenthesis ends it, but it bugs me too. So then you're going to multiply the term number by 3 to get to, that's supposed to be a space in between there, space. Sorry. To get the number of dashes. Okay, so then you have to draw. So you don't have to describe both of these. I just gave 2 examples of things that you would say. You could say. So then you need to draw the next 2. So how many dashes does each branch have on this next one? 4. So altogether there will be 12, right? And then 5. Make sure you have 2 of them and the words. So pictures and words is what I'm looking for when we're grading this. Pictures and words. Okay. Feeling pretty good about this? Yeah? Okay. And then sometimes there are different ways of describing the same thing. So look at number 4. And I want you to just look at number 4. What is one way that you can see to describe that pattern? Like what's happening each time? So Anders, what do you have?
It takes a level off each time.
So like a level off the top?
Bottom.
So there's 2 different things. So one thing you could say that you just take the bottom layer off and then you have the next one. Another thing that somebody said is they could take like this first layer of bricks off and then of blocks off and that layer of blocks off. So you're left with that one. Another thing that somebody says is you could take 2 of these off. It doesn't matter as long as you describe it in your own words. What should you describe it in? And then also what should you draw? The next 2 terms. And so I'm going to give you some time to work on 1 through 6, and then we'll go on to the next part, which is also very easy. This is a little bit of help on number 6. So how many blocks are right here? How many squares?
30.
36, and then how big did they take away here? 1, so that's gonna be 35, right? And how big did they take away here?
4.
So they subtract a 1 squared, they subtracted a 2 squared. So what did they subtract right here? They subtracted a 3 squared, which would be 9. So then what would they subtract on the next one? And the last one? 5 squared. Okay, so then I would say you take away a square with like a side length 1 bigger than the one before. So like took away 1 squared. Yeah, take off a square, the next size bigger square. Yep. Okay, so then what we're doing on the last part, and so this goes 7 through the end, 16, is you have to write numbers. What? And so you're going to either have to read some words, or look at the pictures and then read this thing. So like this one says the first 6 students. So this one is chicken nuggets. They had 1,000. So after the first student they had 995. Second student they had 990, and goes down from there. So that's the first 6 students. You're going to have to do the same thing with these types of things. So write a numeric sequence. So numeric sequences, notice they have commas in between, and they have to go in that order. So this first term has 1 box in it, 1 square. The second term has how many in it? 3. The third has 6. The fourth has how many? Keep on going. 10. So let me just show you this trick. Do you guys see a pattern to how you can get the next one?
15.
What is 1 plus 1? Sorry. 1 plus 2 is 3. 3 plus 3 is 6. 6 plus 4 is 10. So the next one, 5, what are you going to add for the next one? 5, so that'd be 15. And then the 6 would be 15 plus 6 would be 21. And then 7th, because you're supposed to do 7 terms, right? Would be 21 plus 7 is 28. And that's what you do for the rest of these. So let's just skip to another one that's kind of a weirdo. This one's kind of a weirdo. Number 16 is kind of a weirdo. And so is 15. So we'll do 15, 16, and then that'll be the end of this lesson. So Leonardo uses 3 cups of flours in each cake he bakes. He starts the day with 50 cups of flour. Write a numeric sequence to represent the amount of flour remaining after the first 7 cakes Leonardo bakes. Include the amount of flour Leonardo started with. So here's 50. So that was before he started making cakes. Now we have to do 7 cakes. So how many would he have after the first cake? How many cups of flour?
47.
47. Then 44. So we're minusing 3 each time because he uses 3 cups each time. So minus 3, then minus 3 would be 41. So this is the first cake, second cake, third cake. 38 would be the fourth cake. 35 would be the fifth cake. 32, sixth cake. And last one, 29. That would be the 7th cake. And that's all you do for these. And then the last one, how many triangles are in this one? The first term has 1. The second term has 2. The third term has 4. The fourth term has 8. Do you see what's happening here? So it's like doubling, right? So this is like playing 20, 48. So 1, 2, 4, 8. Then what? 16, then 32, then 64. Okay. You could keep on going if you wanted to, but technically you only need to have the first. Yeah, you know how to play 20, 48, what goes next? Okay, this is all you have to do for the rest of this is just fill in the numbers, and that's it. You're done with this lesson.